Uttarashadha nakshatra. Uttarashadha is the second part of this couplet of nakshatras, that is Purvashadha and Uttarashadha. And so Uttara meaning latter, Uttarashadha is the latter victory. Uttarashadha is quite literally the nakshatra of invincibility. This nakshatra is all about claiming a victory that cannot be taken away. And so, what is a victory that cannot be taken away? It's being the first at something. It's creating something that is the first. And in keeping with this energy, Uttarashadha can actually reflect individuals who are quite pioneering in nature and individuals who are able to befriend their enemies. How will you claim a victory that is never taken away? By befriending the people that you were formerly at war with or that you were formerly in some sort of a conflict with. The best example is Swami Vivekananda. If you do not know who Swami Vivekananda is, it's possible, some of my viewers from Europe and US, etc. may not know. Please look him up. I have included a link in the description. He was actually one of the first people who put India's spiritual knowledge and the spiritual economy, that came afterwards on the map in the modern world. He was the first to address the congregation of religions that took place in the US. So, just look him up. There's a lot of inspiration that you'll be able to get from his story and understand. Also, Uttarashadha is the nakshatra of the sun. The sun's nakshatras, barring Kritika, which is a lot about spiritual development through cutting through things, and letting go and sacrifice, both the other nakshatras that are ruled by the sun, Uttar Falguni and now Uttarashadha, both of these energies are very collaborative in nature. So you know how Uttar Falguni was a nakshatra which dealt a lot with succeeding through partnerships and taking people together to create something permanent and beautiful and amazing, right? It's the nakshatra of marriage, it's the nakshatra of close partnerships. In the same way, Uttarashadha is the nakshatra. I mean, you look at the deity of this nakshatra, which is the Vishwadevas. Now, Vishwadevas, if you look at it from the perspective of the Vedas, there have been a lot of shlokas that have collectively just addressed the Vishwadevas. Okay, that is one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that Vishwadevas basically addresses all the gods that are out there. You could say that. And a further simplification would be that we are just addressing Lord Vishnu himself in his Virat Rupa. Okay, so Vishwadevas, the energy that is encapsulated here in this nakshatra is just, this nakshatra has the blessings of all of the entities that have any power and any standing, so to speak. Why? Because Uttarashadha is a nakshatra which deals primarily with everything that has to do about claiming a victory that is not only permanent but at the same time of a high grade, high nature. Something that will last the test of time, something that is going to be for the betterment of society. So the primary purusharth of this nakshatra as well is moksha. This is a nakshatra which is very sattvic in its aspirations. And as I said, the uttara parts of all of these couplets of nakshatras, if you're talking about Purvashadha, Uttarashadha, Pro Falguni, Uttar Falguni, or we're talking about Pro Bhadrapada, Uttar Bhadrapada, the uttara parts of these nakshatras, they are dhruva in nature. That means these aspects of the energies, that we're talking here. For example, Ashad, the energy in question is the energy of victory. So while Purvashada is the energy of gaining a swift, powerful victory, Uttarashadha is gaining a victory that is inevitable. And how do you gain a victory that is inevitable? By working hard. You work hard in every aspect of this energy. You master it. You master the diplomatic aspect of it. You master the R&D aspect of it. You master the tact aspect of it. Everything. So this is a very hard-working, a very blessed, a very responsible sort of energy. Wherever Uttarashadha is in your chart, it's quite possible that you could be a slow starter in that area of your life. Wherever it is placed, irrespective of what planet is placed, I'm talking about the house that this nakshatra falls in. It's possible that you'll be a slow starter, in that area of your life. But as life moves on and as you are able to refine your skills and come closer and closer to becoming the final version of who you are, you will see that the strengths that come up, the skills that come up, the skill set that comes up is just something which is, it gives you an advantage like nobody else has. Okay? If you have Uttarashadha nakshatra prominent in your chart and your life is not doing well, I've seen a lot of people, with this situation, with this particular nakshatra. It's because you are not putting in the necessary patience and hard work to allow the energy to mature. I had a friend who had an important placement in this nakshatra, and he spent a long time trying to clear a particular exam, and he was not able to do it. And then he just kind of switched his fields a little bit, put this exam in the back burner and continued with whatever he wanted to do, and he was able to shine. Why? Because you have to understand that to get a victory that cannot be taken away, you have to aim for realistic things too. You cannot, let's say, at 35 say, I'm going to become, the best NBA player of all time, or I'm going to become the best cricketer of all time. You're going to do that at 35. That is literally impossible for you to do, right? But if you have worked all of your life for it, if you've spent your youth, your childhood learning, studying the game, sport, then you can actually achieve it by the time you are a certain age, because you have set yourself up for it. So this nakshatra has the power to grant an impossible victory. But that impossible victory, you have to take it in the right context. That impossible victory can only come when you're not aiming for impossible things. When you're aiming for something that may sound lofty, that may sound, far-fetched, but you're backing that up with action and you're moving towards it every day, in the characteristic ardent dhruva energy of resilience, of patience, then you will see yourself achieving something that is like you will not have even thought about it. You will be in a league of your own. It'll be different, at least for that particular area of your life. Okay? So another thing that I wanted to share here with respect to this nakshatra is that it's the only nakshatra whose totem animal, male mongoose, doesn't have a counterpart. And if you look at the mongoose is absolutely ferocious. The mongoose defeats like all kinds of poisonous snakes. He's probably the most resilient creature out there, I would say, after the honey badger. Right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the honey badger. Those guys, my God, those are badasses. Look them up as well, seriously. But mongoose, I would say, comes a very close second place if I had to talk about the most badass animals in the animal kingdom. And so there is a lot of fearlessness that comes with this energy. And also to channel this nakshatra's energy and the luck and the blessings given to you by the Vishwadevas, you have to become fearless. And I talked about this topic, in fact, in one of my podcast episodes. It's Your Time to Fly. go check it out. It's a podcast playlist here. I talked about it, that when you're talking about fearlessness, when you're talking about these powerful deities in Vedic culture who give you the ability to become invincible, they demand you to be fearless. You have to be. Because let's say you have some of the most powerful assassins and secret service commandos at your disposal. You need to be fearless if you want to get their help to do what you want in life. Otherwise, you will just spend a lot of time fearing them. These are fearsome people to be around. You'll keep thinking, what if they kill me? I mean, they could do that in like a flick of the wrist and I'll be gone. So whenever you are blessed with a lot of energy, understand this about the nakshatras, okay? Then you have to become fearless to be able to tap into the energy. At least for this particular nakshatra, Uttarashadha, that is definitely the case, okay? For the more peaceful, the more wonderful and easygoing energies like Purva Falguni, you have to tap more into your natural way of being and self-expression. It's a different kind of fearlessness that you need to embody. But when we're talking about nakshatras like Uttarashadha, when we're talking about nakshatras like, let's say, Vishakha, you have to learn how to channel the energy within you by taking action towards the right things. This is also why you will see that the most powerful nakshatras have a primarily sattvic, aspiration. Because it is only when you are focusing your energy towards sattvic goals can you be truly fearless. No matter how big a badass you are, if you are aspiring for things that are going to cause harm to innocent people, deep down, even if you're a psychopath, deep down, you're doing wrong. You know that there is something wrong with what you're doing. And it's that lack of conviction, it's that lack of connection which prevents the flow of energy from these powerful celestial forces to you. Okay? Now, what's going to happen if you have, planets placed in this nakshatra? So let's say you have sun placed in the nakshatra of Uttarashadha. Wow, this is going to be a very testing, a very sort of, powerful, responsibility, heavy energy. Because this is sun's own nakshatra. And when you put sun in his own nakshatra, it's like attempting a math exam with the math teacher right there. You mess up a question and the math teacher is going to, ask you right away. You're solving it in that fashion? Is that what I taught you? Like, what the hell? Like, is that how I taught you in class? You're making that stupid mistake? So when you have sun in Uttarashadha, you're likely to be a very, sort of calm, collected, put together person who is very aware of their responsibilities and they try to do their best all the time. You can sometimes, tend to be a little bit too nice as an individual, but it's good, because sun in Uttarashadha is going to bring out a lot of these sattvic energies from within you and help you shine and do quite well with respect to government, government position, government posts. Not necessarily we'll have to look at the other aspects of the chart as well, but this is going to be a benefic placement that helps you succeed with a lot of things, okay, business, etc. Let's say you have what do we put here? Mercury in the nakshatra of Uttarashadha. Mercury in the nakshatra of Uttarashadha is most probably going to show an individual who has a very powerful intellect that is very practical and rooted in the reality of how to work through and with different systems. This is a very powerful, grounded, practical mind of an individual who could be probably a great in the area of accounts, in the area of war, and strategy, things of that sort. And maybe in the area quite often of politics, weapons, it's also quite possible. But Mercury in Uttarashadha can also make great writers, can also make great performers. Because when you put the intellectually curious energy of Mercury into the nakshatra of Uttarashadha, the individual, instead of living through a lot of that energy, is now also able to express a lot of what they are feeling, what they're going through. And that can make for wonderful art. Art is nothing but a person who is able to express the pain, the happiness, the myriad of emotions in words, in paint, in a way that can be expressed and understood by the rest of the world. Okay? In the same way, let's say you have Ketu in the nakshatra of Uttarashadha. Ketu in the nakshatra of Uttarashadha is definitely going to show an individual who from previous lifetimes has reincarnated with respect to a specific goal to win in a particular area. It is also going to show that, early on in life, you may just be denied a lot of victories. You may not have the necessary patience, the necessary resilience to apply yourself to long-term goals. Okay, because it's Ketu. Ketu denies wherever it sits to quite an extent. But Ketu being there also shows that this is something that you naturally have, and with time you're going to be, this skill, this knowledge, this idea, this consciousness is just going to come back to you, and you're going to be like, whoa, there's something important that I have to do here. There's something important that I have to accomplish, and I am going to do it. Okay, this is how you analyze things with Ketu. Okay, with Moon, take the entire energy of this nakshatra, put it in the Moon, because after all, when we're talking about nakshatras, we're primarily talking about the Moon, because these are lunar mansions. Okay, great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very short analysis. I'm going to go deeper and deeper into the energy of these nakshatras as we complete our orbits around the 27 nakshatras, which is covering the basics the first time around. In the next orbits and the next orbits and the next orbits, we're going to go in deeper, deeper, deeper. Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel so that you can stay abreast of all the wonderful content that I post here, and push the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time I post. If you want a personal session with me, you can do so by checking out the link given here in the description box. Thank you so much. Take care. Hari Om.